From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself, which is one hell of an adventure these days. I'm Ken Epson.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, and yes, life is a wild ride. I almost said a wild and fun ride. Sometimes it's fun. Today it will be fun. Here on ForceCenter, it will be fun.
The wildest ride in the wilderness. Yeah, good, bad. Otherwise, all of it's on the table here today. We got some Star Wars news, and it's a lighter news time. But we're also going to talk about that. Actually, when you do the math, is it going to be as light as you think in the fall? We'll dive in. We got some Star Wars mini questions. We're having a lot of fun clipping those out. And in some of our business up top, I do want to say, as always, we are sponsored by the applesauce I'm choking on right now, which was a great breakfast. We're sponsored. Never choked on apples. Is that age happening right in front of me? Grandpa's choking on his applesauce.
Got to learn how to gum things better.
Here we go. Today's podcast is brought to you by our shop on Fourth Wall. Check out our merch store. Pick up a t-shirt, a pint glass, a coaster, something to support the show and represent ForceCenter out in the galaxy. Like I said, new items have been added, more on the way. You can visit that at ForceCenter-shop.fourthwall.com. ForceCenter-shop.fourthwall.com. If you're watching on YouTube, there are links down below. Also want to update that, right here at the end of all things, we finally are available on TikTok. If that's your preferred format for shorts and reels and those things, we're having a lot of fun clipping out our mini questions and other things. You're just kind of getting the word out about ForceCenter. I understand the formats and the platforms have changed. So in addition to the applesauce, Grandpa's on TikTok with Joseph and Jennifer. So check out ForceCenter. Yes. It's ForceCenter Show because ForceCenter was already taken.
All right. Well, I hope everybody is excited about the applesauce challenges we're going to do on TikTok, where we're going to fill a ForceCenter pint glass from Fourth Wall with applesauce and see which of us can eat it the fastest. That's a thing that we won't be doing. If we ever do that, I think that's a signal from us to our kind supporters that we're in trouble. It's a call for help if we're doing an applesauce challenge on TikTok.
Do you see, they used to do 2-hour episodes on Dexter Jetster. They're now eating applesauce in ice buckets. It's what's going on over there.
I think they're best at analyzing character arcs and fast applesauce eating. That's really their strengths as a Star Wars podcast.
Oh, but there you go. So that's my update, sir. We also have our ask.
We're continuing to grow on Patreon, or attempt to grow on Patreon, and we could probably just stop talking there, because if you've been watching for a while, you know that we're still building to this goal. We'd love to get to 430 paid patrons. We bounce up and down, which is totally understandable right now, but even if you can only afford $1 or $2 or whatever a month, it will get you access to our Discord, where there's a lot of fun, friendly conversation about Star Wars. When we get to that goal of 430 paid patrons, we're going to do a special video episode of Star Wars Ranked using a classic episode, the audio, with exciting new visuals designed by Jennifer, who will be back with us next week, by the way.
That's right. Summer travel season, summer vacation season. Jen sends her regards, which every time I say that does sound like she is a Lannister trying to kill Starks at a wedding. But we're going to get into life adventures before we get into Star Wars news. As I said up top, busy time, which isn't always a bad thing. I had a wonderfully busy time last week and felt productive, felt good, and then crashed on a Sunday night into our recording here and just had a supersized sandwich and 2 hours with Billy Joel. 2.5 hours with Billy Joel, that new doc that's coming out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, coming out. It's out. So that was kind of my week. I'll find some Star Wars adventures in that. But have you had a sandwich or Billy Joel in your life?
I read a little bit of, I can't remember what, somebody posted something about that Billy Joel doc. And I thought to myself, I bet Ken's watching that. I have been doing many things. I've been playing with the light level of some of my devices for some photos I'm taking for the film I'm working on. And I realized that I left the light up on my blue light, and I just turned it down while Ken was sharing his life adventures, because it looked like I was like scanning myself for blood. It looked like I had some sort of luminol light from Law and Order. For Star Wars Life Adventures, Sarah and I finished our rewatch of Skeleton Crew, or my rewatch, her first watch. And there were lots of great gasps from Sarah. It was really fun. I knew she would enjoy all the stuff with the kids, but it was really fun to watch her go on the Jod moral roller coaster
Mm.
of
Mm-hmm.
who is he? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? What does he really believe? What does he want? What is the cryptic little smile? And she was very much on board with the idea of like he doesn't want to do awful things to the kids, but he wants to believe that he can.
Mm.
And would he really? It was a really fun discussion after Skeleton Crew, and just a reminder of I think that great Star Wars recipe where if you just kind of want to watch it in a quick passing way, it's really fun. But if you want to dig in, there are all sorts of rich ideas. She was really taken with the imagery of the Onyx Cinder stripping its armor and
Mm.
becoming a sleek new ship.
Yeah, that's next on my rewatch list, and I'm excited to dive back in. And when we watch and review the shows here, we usually watch the episodes at least twice, maybe more. And so, a rewatch can be. I'll put that off, and I'm like, I'm ready now. I'm finishing my rewatch of Ahsoka, getting to the
Ooh,
final episodes of that, and I publicly I've said many times I kind of struggled with the show, and I think there's still some things that just don't click for me. But the things that pop, particularly the Anakin stuff. It's still so wonderfully rich, deserves to be studied even deeper, and
mhm.
plus just watching Baylan Skoll stare into the sky is still one of my favorite things in Star Wars. Watch him just grimace and contemplate. So I've been having a lot of fun with that too.
Yeah.
So I like to revisit.
I was thinking about that Anakin episode, and I was having a conversation with my wife about a thing in life where both my wife and I love nuance and love talking about nuance. And my nuance is that most things are nuanced, and every once in a while something isn't. It's pretty binary. It's
Mm.
yes or no, live or die. And we were talking about something. I was like, I think the nuanced take on this is that there isn't nuance to this one. It's just yes or no
Mm.
on a thing we were discussing. And I almost started going off like, it's like Anakin and Ahsoka. Liver, and like I stopped myself.
That's it's what I love about Star Wars, right? It's everywhere, and
Hmm.
it's a great way to communicate, process the big ideas. I've talked a lot about how talking Star Wars with you and Jennifer has helped change me and my view of the world, or just things I want to take action on, and that's why I love it when you can go. It's just like Anakin said, or just like
Hmm.
Anakin failed to do. Like I love that stuff.
A
Love that.
lot of lessons from Anakin. It's nice to have a good one.
Good one indeed. Well, let's get to some Star Wars news. Like we said up top, not a ton, but we want to dive into what is there. And then we might have a little conversation about what is coming in Star Wars news and what we think about that. Tony Gilroy is still talking. And I feel, at this point, I feel bad. Because he's not bad for, I mean, he's doing good. I'm sure he woke up today and did not have a bad morning. He's not choking on applesauce. But he's still being asked about Star Wars, and he's going to be asked about Star Wars for a long time. He was speaking with Deadline about the Emmy nominations for Andor and the snubs. There are a lot of performances, said Tony, that I wish were recognized. Diego Luna and Genevieve O'Reilly. There are a dozen performances. These aren't great moment-to-moment performances. These are epic, long-term character studies that they've done over 24 episodes. I think the ultimate victory is that these performances will be celebrated and discussed for years to come. I feel confident about that, and I think he has reason to feel confident about that. So, Joseph, conversation thought started for us. What do we feel about the long-term legacy of these performances? And we talked about the awards last week, but where do you go with that?
I think Tony Gilroy is right, and I think he is. It has been interesting to see him become a master of the circuit
Really? Yeah.
of how to speak honestly, but with a little bit of a political awareness of threading various needles. And
Mhm.
I think somebody like him could be really grumpy about the Emmy nominations, but I think taking that spin of like, yes, these are legacy performances that will be enjoyed for a long time. Andor is going to be revisited. It's going to be up there in the sort of Hall of Fame with TV shows from this era. Um, and I think that people are going to be shocked years from now that it didn't get Emmy nominations. That's just going to be like a
Right.
fun fact. You're like, when you think back to like, when you first found out that It's a Wonderful Life did terrible at the box office, and you're like, what?
Right.
How? and it's a fun fact. Wasn't just kind of like a little fun fact to Frank Capra at the time,
No,
right?
no.
So I think it's really smart for somebody like Tony Gilroy to have the long term view of like Emmy nomination would be cool. They would make a bigger impact probably to the individual actors, and that
Hmm.
sucks.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, now Andor will be confined to the dustbins of history.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I love the way he kind of phrased, hey, they've done it over 24 episodes. And, hey, not new. We've seen television shows go for years, and we follow the characters, good, bad, and otherwise. And, maybe you agree with the ending of the characters, all those things that happens with big prestige TV. But I love that he framed it. We just got 24 episodes, and they, just in terms of the characters, the arcs and where they go and what they learn and the lessons and the ups and downs and even the deaths. I just love seeing that it's contained in that way. If that makes sense, it's like just this really like concentrated Star Wars story that we got, and I can't wait to dive in years later and just kind of follow what they were able to pull off in this one big story in my mind. If that makes
Hmm.
any sense.
Yeah, I think him focusing on like it wasn't just that somebody came in and had their very special episode and did an amazing job.
Hmm.
Maybe Elizabeth Dula a little bit because she got such a chance to shine in that one
Right.
particular episode. Not like she didn't do a good job, but like with Diego Luna and Genevieve O'Reilly in particular, that they got to do a slow build of here are all
Mm.
the walls to change and exactly how much is a wall crack now, how much is it crack
Mm.
now. I think that is something to study. I also
Mm.
think that Andor is going to probably live on in perhaps the annoyance of casting directors and theater professors as people use Andor monologues to audition or for theater class all the time. I
Yeah.
think there's probably theater professors rolling their eyes right now of like, yeah, you can do the "My Mind is a Sunless Space" monologue for class. Yeah, we're gonna have 5 "My Mind is a Sunless Space" monologues for class, but okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. That's absolutely. I hadn't thought of that angle. I'm gonna do Marva's "Scob the Empire" speech, but I'm gonna use the actual words from Earth. Another thing I love too, he highlights Diego Luna and Genevieve O'Reilly. We'll talk about some of the performances that maybe speak to us now, but uh, you know, just taking characters that we already knew, one that we had kind of lived with for 40 years or so, if you're in our generation, others 10 years or so, with Andor, just been able to explore those characters again in a series that I remember when it was announced. I think we were generally excited around these parts, but there were still some of those question marks, why, which I think are fair questions. This isn't one of those eye rolling at your we didn't ask for these stories, which that's a different discussion. But just like Andor, really, okay, there was that vibe behind it. Spy show, that makes sense, but to actually see it play out over these 24 episodes and these two characters among many great ones, just characters we know, but now we got to go back explore them in ways that we never could have imagined. That's part of what I think the show's legacy will be for me as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there will be a long legacy of these
Hmm.
performances.
They're all great performances, but at this point, the show's in the rearview mirror. What are the characters and performances that speak to us now? Big, small, Dewey Freedy on the list, I'm sure as well. But where do you go with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was trying to kind of make my list of like, okay, if I only had to shout out a couple, uh,
Hmm.
and I realized I kind of kept being drawn to a similar thing that was asked of some of the actors, in particular, Genevieve O'Reilly, Elizabeth Dula, and Denise Gow, where they're all to some extent playing the absolute steel and the vulnerability or more emotions underneath or
Yeah.
the real want, the real need behind this really steely exterior. And I think that's a really fascinating thing to play. uh, it can be easy to play my motivation is I'm hungry and I will do anything for food, and then you just play that. It's
Mm.
different that like there's this raging thing inside you that needs something and you can't let it show at all, but we also need to see it. And I think in different ways all 3 of those women play that, and other characters too. um I think Genevieve O'Reilly, you know, the Tacoma scene in the first season, the smile scene is great. I think Elizabeth Dula, you know, just having that sort of ferocity, but then the emotion underneath about her relationship to Luthen and to the mission. But Denise Gow in particular, I think she in some ways got to play one of the most multifaceted roles. And it isn't just about the when do we have sympathy for the character. I think like her truth isn't really vulnerability. It's like ferocity. Like there's a feral, loud, powerful soul in that character. Like she wants a promotion. She wants to grind Luthen under her boot. When her weird boyfriend comes home, she wants to have passionate sex with him. But all of those things are kind of like the real her is like this beast on a chain that she's trying to reel in so she doesn't get judged by her coworkers, or she doesn't, you know, get judged by the system. Like I think that's one of the reasons that we gravitated toward that character, is somebody who just is kind of like always forced to keep themselves on a little bit of a leash.
Keep yourself contained.
I
love that. I don't want to turn this into a mini Star Wars ranked. I mean, hell, we could if we wanted down the line. With you on some of those big performances, and I mean, like I said, you throw a dart, you hit a great actor in this series, not in the eye. But some of the ones that stand out to me, I especially at this point, Joplin Sibtain as Brasso, just watching him play this character that has so much empathy and care and concern for his pal, but is in this system, is just trying to maybe get by. I don't say his head's down, you know, he's not happy with things, but survival, right? This is what we do here, and we protect those around us. But when he makes that choice in that third episode to put the old cable on the the police vehicle there, and he walks away from it, it's a Star Wars badass moment away, but it's a moment of action. It's a moment of getting involved, and we know where that ends up now for him as a character. But he just projects such wonderful warmth, but to me speaks to a character that's, you know, it's not this big get involved. It is just this. I'm making this choice, and I don't even know if I'm comfortable with this choice, but I know I have to. And I think it's very inspiring, and it's played so well. There's such a strength, you know. He's such a strong character, but is led by empathy, and in this world, something we need. You know, now we kindness is punk rock from Superman. Brassos's calm strength is punk rock to me as well. One of the performances.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think he is just such a great. There's something very powerful about him, because he just seems like he's sort of community first, of like, I look out for my people, and even when that means I have to do something I don't really want to do and make trouble, because otherwise it feels like if there's not a problem, that man goes to work, he has 2.5 pints, and he gets to bed on time, and he gets back to work, and he's the guy that is taking care of everybody when they're in chaos.
Yeah, indeed. I think that, and the flip side of that is Alistair McKenzie as Perrin Firtha. Not featured heavily in the show, but we love to hate him in season 1, and I don't know if I love to hate him after season 2, but he's such a wonderful character, and he gets his point of view out there with that great monologue speech at the wedding, but it's still sad, right? It's still almost, I'll even say, kind of pathetic, and it's played so wonderfully from Alistair McKenzie, where you want to believe him with that speech. And there's some great things in that wedding speech. You could probably clip some out and make a great bumper sticker. But behind it is this inaction. And going back to season 1, which is like, why is everything so political? And just watch him go through that. And it means a lot to me now, because when you're out in the real world, in our real world, where you see some folks that are like, I just want to be silly. And that's a point where, we all maybe come to, especially as entertainers, where we're still silly here. We love asking where can you put an Ewok questions, but it's there. You could be like Brasso, or you could be like Perrin, and I love it's the bookends there for me, and it's played so wonderfully warm. And I also want to shout out, I don't think we should overlook, we don't, but Fiona Shaw's Marva, the speech. But go back and watch all her scenes. Watch that progression, and watch that. Well, that's just love. Everything there. It's it's everything it's cracked up to be. You know what I mean? Sometimes the answer is the
Mhm.
answer. She's so damn good.
Yeah, I'm getting the speech is great, but the when she
Sweet's great.
tells Cassian she's gonna look for the rebellion and join it somehow,
Hmm.
is it's so well played for her intensity and sincerity, but also the like how you're
Yeah,
you're sick, the rebellion isn't here. What like, well, I'll find a way. So great. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that I'm glad that you highlighted Perrin and that
Mhm.
the performance of that speech, because I think what he does so well in that speech is it makes an argument that sounds really good but keeps the sadness underneath. And
Mhm.
his argument that the world's a really hard place and you have to find joy is great, and it's true. And the things he lists at the wedding are
Mhm.
great, of just like seeing my child's happy smile. But you can also see in his eyes, like, oh, when you say find little moments of joy, you mean booze, gambling, and affairs. They don't actually make you happy,
Yes,
dude.
dude. Dude, yeah, yeah, and and yeah, everything about his speech is right from a certain point of view, but it's like it takes the Brassos of the world to fight for that joy. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, we're fighting for the joys too. We got to keep that in mind, but we're fighting for everyone's joys, not just
Yeah.
yours, Perrin.
Yeah. Compare Brazos, farm table in season 2 to
Yeah,
our last shot of Perrin
yeah.
in the cab, the sky cab.
Rest in peace. There,
Yeah.
many other performances that I'm sure we'll discuss. Any
Hmm.
others for you, or we can move
I
on?
just, I mean, Stellan Skarsgård obviously I think is like
Sure.
taken for granted. I do want to just shout out Diego Luna himself. That I think he was given a little bit of a hard job. He is
Hmm.
in many scenes. He gets to play charming. He gets to play angry. He gets to play frightened. But a lot of the times he's just playing stressed. He is just playing how do I
Hmm.
get out of this? How do I get to the next point? And he's playing it with layers, especially
Hmm.
I think in the first season where he can't, where he wants to get involved and is wants to run away as well, and all the emotional threads of who he's willing to fight for. He's playing a lot of things, but on a real practical level, there are lots of scenes where he's just sort of arguing for whatever is needed right
Hmm.
there in that moment. And I think it can be a little bit more of a thankless task, which is why I think he deserves to be praised for being the lead who has
Hmm.
to play that kind of scene again and again, and keeps finding new and different ways and honest ways to do it and to track where the character is.
Yeah, compelling stuff, and I think some of my favorite stuff comes towards the end, especially with that force healer and the stuff he's playing with there. And it's easy to overlook, right?
Hmm.
Easy to overlook all these performances, which is why we're
Hmm.
still talking about them and trying to highlight them. Tony was also, speaking of overlooked, Tony was thrilled to see Luke Holt's production design team and Michael Wilkinson's costume design team getting nominations. They did not after season one. And even though we've been talking about the snubs and everything, I think you're right to point out, like this helps careers, even just the nominations, and the work they did after season one, recognized by fans and maybe the industry, but actually get the nom is nice to see. So I was thinking myself, but asking you, what are some of your favorite designs from their teams, costumes, production, otherwise?
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm one short of a ranked list. Um, uh, all of Ferrex, but the wall of gloves on Ferrex uh,
Yes.
is fantastic. It's one of those just visual things that tells you this is a working class planet, and their culture is built on it. Along with I keep wanting to call him the time banger. Uh,
Same. Time
yes,
grappler. Time
the
banger.
time grappler. But that wall of gloves, right? It's like it isn't just practical. It's like ritual. It's like
Yeah.
pride in this place and in this community and in this work. Uh, the the prison outfits in
Yeah.
Narkina. It's a great costume design to look very Star Warsy. Take the exciting orange of the rebel pilot suit and make it depressing.
Hmm.
Prison jumpsuits. The cafe on Gorman, all of Gorman is amazing,
Yeah.
but the cafe in particular really has this great contrast between how much you see it, and it does look like a European deli, and you're just like, I want to go there and have some sort of fancy
Yeah.
pastry.
Yeah.
And such a contrast to the horror that's going on in Gorman. And Luthen's shop should not be overlooked, because I think we get excited about our little Easter eggs and the Nautilin bleeder and the Indiana Jones carbonite frozen stuff. But just like the design of that space in terms of the objects that reflect, it's antiquities, but a lot of them are treading on dangerous ground with force sensitive stuff, with stuff from Naboo. A lot of it is weapons. In the design of that shop, where you could have a sort of a back room that's kind of hidden, but kind of peeking out on it all, there's a lot that reinforces who Luthen and Clea are and what they're doing.
Great choices there. Yeah, you're right. We could go down the list. I'm haunted by the Narkina prison design. And I get it. It's very sci-fi. It's very THX 113A. Like, I get all the influences, and we got that concept art. The Art of book is coming out. Cannot wait to get our hands on that one. But like, and I think it with Dedra later in her final moments in the show, I think that was so well. It set that up so well, because I would just look at that set and just think, how could I live there? Could I live there? I would get lost in that. I would just be haunted by that. Forget no privacy, but just like a square. You move, you die. And it's so simple, and it's just so stark, and to execute the concept of that design and make it so real is something that is still there in my soul. I love rewatching those episodes for so many reasons, but I think just the simplicity of that design works for me. You don't have to do too much. The horror is there. It's built into it.
Yeah, the no privacy, the food hose. Yeah.
Food hose. I also love, talk about big Star Wars locations, and I love that you brought up like the details of the gloves and stuff on Ferrix, but going to Yavin 4 and just expanding what we already knew of Yavin and getting that little community there, and the design choices behind Bix and Cassian's little hut that has a lot of their kind of history and feels like a little more organic, but they're part of something big, and it's the home and playing it against what they were, the safe house on course. Like, I loved everything about that, and never at one point, and it's the storytelling too, but with the design, it never at any point did I question that it was not already there. I just hadn't seen it yet. I love that.
Yeah, you're right. That is such a great design in what the actual their apartment home looks like, but also that exists in Yavin. That, like, I don't know where I thought they all slept, in little apartments above in the higher echelons of the temple there. I don't know, but
right. Yeah, I'm sure Dodonna has a suite up there. I'm sure that's, once he returns, Dodonna's coming back tomorrow. They get to his suite. And in terms of costumes, you mentioned the gore. It's hard to not talk about it. Hard to not list that, because the influences are very, very direct in a wonderful way. Like, you think of Revolution, you think of maybe these cultures, these places, these people. Well, we're going to put that in Star Wars. And that can go wrong. You could seem too real world. Us Star Wars podcasters can get too prickly on that kind of stuff. But it just felt so right. And when you got the stormtroopers there, you got something classic Star Wars that you think Star Wars, you think stormtroopers, which is always, weird marketing back in the day. But alongside these very real people with this language, that's so close to our own, and the dialect and everything, and it just melded perfectly. It was so well done. Just, there's so many choices, but that for me sticks out.
No, it's a huge one.
Finally, this is kind of the headline of the interview, Joseph. Finally, when asked if he'd return to the Star Wars galaxy, Tony said he's currently prepping a film in L.A., which I think he finally got his funding for. It stars, among others, Oscar Isaac. It's set in the film score world. Love that. But Tony said, hey, it's not on the menu right now. I'll never say never. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joseph. I think this is a bit of a tone change with Tony. And what's your thoughts on that? And let's pitch Tony a return to Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the sentence from the Deadline article said, yeah, Oscar Isaac is set in the world of film scoring for his upcoming film. And then it said, Searchlight, the company, is kicking the tires at financing it, but it's not official yet.
Oh, sorry,
So
Tony.
maybe that's a part of it. It's like, maybe I'll ask for a large enough directing fee from Star Wars to help finance Behemoth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie is titled Behemoth with an exclamation point. So I hope it's a musical about film scoring. Um,
Great.
but I mean, I will get to your actual question, but I'm just so taken with like, oh, well, what is Tony Gilroy working on next?
Mm-hmm.
If he does make this film with Oscar Isaac, that's going to be just their press tour is going to be endless Star Wars conversations. So when are you two going to do a Star Wars together? Or like, did you spend the entire shoot talking about Star Wars together, guys? Tony and Oscar. I can't
And
wait to see how they deftly say, could we please talk about the film we're here to promote?
those are those are probably all. You just need to add Adam Driver, and those are probably the three people who do not want to talk Star Wars the most on press tours.
Somewhere like, yeah, Han Solo from the 90s, 2000s, Harrison Ford is nodding his head in approval. Like, see,
Yeah. Yeah.
he came around anyway. But yeah, I do think I'll never say never is great. I think that there's that infamous Daniel Craig interview where he had just finished doing Spectre. I think he'd like gotten injured in the cool train fight with the Dave Bautista and like broken a finger and like was now on this like grueling, endless publicity tour. And somebody was like asked him about the next one, and he said, I'd rather off myself. But, it was rough. And then he later was like, I'm sorry, I just finished that one. I was really tired and stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Gilroy certainly hasn't been that negative about Star Wars again at all. But I wonder also if there's a little bit of like the Emmy tour, the promotional tour is wrapping up.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can calm down a little bit. Now my mind is thinking a little bit about, well, what would be fun in that world? And he's a little bit more, can feel a little bit more open to it.
Yeah, I mean it's just natural, right? I mean, even Daisy Ridley coming out of Episode 9 had that's done, wrapped up, and I believed her at the time. We all should have believed it. Just what happens. John Boyega, obviously for reasons he shared, his maybe trepidation doing Star Wars or lack of desire is pretty solid, but he eventually could. Not even come around. I don't even think that's sometimes cynical. It's just like, yeah, here's where I am now, and I do love that character. Or there's more on the table to do with those characters, and I'm glad to hear Tony say this. As sometimes, I would poke the character of Tony that we created in our minds, especially in season one, and some of the stuff he says. I've definitely really enjoyed watching him. Enjoy more of the Star Wars world, to feel it and go on this whirlwind press tour where he's sitting with a bunch of podcasts and he's aware of podcasts. I think it's been wonderful. So yeah, without a doubt, I'd be excited to have him return. And I like hearing this. It was just kind of fun to be like, all right. And again, you could be cynical about it. You and I aren't here in this moment, but you're also right. Like that's what happens. All right, let me go direct the big budget thing that maybe I don't want to do, but that will allow me to do the other things. That's been the game for a long time, and I think even more so now in the changing landscape that we're in. But I don't. Tony doesn't strike me as a guy.
Applesauce strikes back. It's terrible.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Tony does not strike me as a guy that would just blindly go, yeah, all right. Give me the cash. Let me do cheaper by the dozen 5. Like, it doesn't strike me as that guy.
No.
Doesn't.
No, and I'm sure he's been working on Andor for a long time, and gotten a lot of kudos, as he should. And it is. I am excited. I would love for him to do another Star Wars thing, but I'm also excited to see like, well, what does he want to pursue with the cachet and hopefully financing that Andor has helped him get.
What would you pitch to Tony? Like, Tony, I got an idea. Here's the general thought behind it. We're not pitching specific things here today, but when you think of him returning, where do you go?
I would love to see him do a film that is in his wheelhouse, that is this sort of Michael Clayton in space, something that is a sort of indie political thriller, and or certainly is. But it was also this tale of rebellion as these characters arcs. There was some slow burn elements to it. I would love to see him tell a story that's like 2 hours and 15 minutes with that compressed high level stress. Like, the kind of the arcs where, that third act, that third episode in the arc in Andor, like, that compressed into a film. Where and when, like, hey, I don't care. Give me a Jedi political thriller. Let him play with the Jedi.
That's not a bad idea. I want to push him a little bit if he's coming back. And, one of the things Andor did so well is explore areas that we already knew very much, Star Wars fans, but just kind of give us new wrinkles on the ground, boots on the ground, and take this high, sci-fi fantasy story and make it, down to where we saw the hems, the stitching and the bricks and the screws. I want him to do that with the rise of the First Order.
Ooh.
I don't even want the New Republic. I want him to explore what's going on out there and going back. This is old school ForceCenter. Where's Rey Sloan? Make her one of the main characters. Take us to Exegol. Take these characters as they're most of them, I'd say all of them, maybe doing bad things, but give us that, and maybe you also kick back to the New Republic as their foreman. Give him more time with Mothma. Let him explore Mothma as a chancellor now, as a leader, beyond even what she was. So maybe it's both. I'm negotiating with myself on the fly here. It's not just the first, but I just a character like Rey Sloan had this. I'm no longer going to serve any other person. I'm going to serve myself. She had, I'll say at best, understandable reasons for joining the Empire, that she eventually came to understand that was maybe wrong, and all those kind of things plays out wonderful in one big series. But then, boom, she's gone. Snoke emerges. You got the cultists. You got Palpatine, or the withered husk of him. Say, Tony, do that. Do ground level. Do the politics. But you're starting at a level of Space Wizard still alive. Figure it out.
That'd be very interesting. I wonder how much he would want to navigate
Mm-hmm.
the unknown regions, but some of the known canon with the unknown canon. He did a great job with Andor, but I wonder if he would want to be like free. Like, I would. I'm imagining him now, like a meeting with Kathleen Kennedy and realizing, like, wait, Dave Filoni created a whole different galaxy. Yeah, I want a galaxy.
I want a galaxy.
I want a galaxy. I don't have to worry about anything.
I want a galaxy. That's it. It's settled. He's going to do the Bright Tree Village story we've always wanted. The Rise of Chirpa is all him. So that's a look at Tony, Gilroy, Andor, and the Emmy nominations. Maybe not the last conversation we'll have about the show and the people behind it, but that's it for now. We did want to have a conversation about just Star Wars news in general and kind of look ahead. It's admittedly a very dry season for Star Wars news, and news does drive a lot of Star Wars podcasts, even when you don't want it to. It's the thing that gets the most attention, and I get it. The rest of the year doesn't have much coming out outside of Visions Volume 3 and some of the Lego stuff, and we don't want to speak over those things. The Lego stuff's fun. The Visions Volume 3 is going to mean a lot to a lot of people because that series does. We enjoy it as well here. But we should start seeing legit news very soon. And all of it's legit news, but you know what I mean. Teases, art, all the fun stuff for Maul, Shadow Lord, Ahsoka Season 2, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. Joseph, just overall here, we think that's 2026. That's just months away. The press is going to start soon.
Yeah, it's frighteningly close, 2026, when you look at it from some perspectives. When I look at Star Wars news, it feels very far away. Like, come on, let's go. I'm really looking forward to the Mando and Grogu buzz. I think partially because I do love those characters, and I think it's a really interesting project to have Favreau be making a big film. It's been quite a while since we've spent time with those characters, but also, it's been a weird time in the industry, and it feels like Disney Lucasfilm has really put their back into some things and other things, both theatrical and on streaming, and been like kind of shifted from this. So plop, here's Skeleton Crew. Take it. since Mando and Grogu is the return to the cinema, I'm so interested to see how they lean into this. Because
Mm,
we have the sort of precedent of the Phantom Menace, which I don't think Mando and Grogu will get to that level. We have the precedent of the Force Awakens, and I'm
mm.
not sure that Mando and Grogu will get to that level. But I do think that it's not just going to be like, hey, here's our latest Pixar film. Or, I think they're really going to put their backs into this. Are they going to
Mm,
target wide audiences? They need to, but how are they going to do
mm.
that
Ah,
versus, especially since it's a continuation of a television show?
mm.
How much are they going to flood the market with merch? Are they going to do some tricks? Are they going to get Grogu a star on Hollywood Boulevard? Which sounds really ridiculous, but Kermit's got one, and so do several television dogs. In my
Yeah.
depressed times in Hollywood, I like to walk down Hollywood Boulevard and look at the number of animals who are more successful than I ever will be. And you could add Grogu to that list. He's not an
Yeah.
animal, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, look, Vader, 3PO, R2, they were out for the 77 stuff. So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, they got their
Yeah.
footprints in front of
Hmm.
Grauman's. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So just
Yeah.
like how they're gonna go about, like, of course, I care most about the story, and I can't wait to see what the trailer is and dive into it. And we've talked about what our hopes and dreams are for the story, and I hope it is exploring Grogu's trauma and Naboo, and I
Hmm.
think Jar Jar showing up and all those things that people want and hope for. That the story is always what I'm most excited about, but it's just kind of fascinating to think how they're going to go about approaching this to
Yeah.
sell it as the great return to the cinema.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of pressure on it. I think some of the stuff that's out there unofficially, but gets out there with some of the teases and stuff, have all been very effective for excitement in the event. I'm not accusing the promotion so far being of too inside baseball, but a lot of it's there's Zeb, here's that thing. It's, we're back, but we got to take that to the masses, as you've said.
Hmm.
Um, and what's the time frame on that? And what is the modern timeline for this kind of promotion stuff? It's not even 2014 anymore, where you could
Mm-mm.
do a teaser on Black Friday in November 2014 for a movie not coming out to December 2015, and that needed it, and obviously we had a lot of fun with that. So. Do you wait until January? Does it need to be in Christmas or the Christmas season? We
Mm.
have D23 is late August into September, out there in Orlando this year. Destination D23, a journey around the world. That seems like a great spot to maybe herald in this new season of Mando and Grogu marketing. There. Do you have any thoughts on the timeline?
Yeah, I think definitely something at D23, even if it's just more cast announcement,
Hmm.
behind the scenes thing. Maybe, I mean, since they've had some version of a teaser trailer for a while that they've played at other conventions,
Yeah.
I think a teaser trailer would make a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
I think D23. I also was thinking back to that Force Awakens. That was Thanksgiving Day, right? Or was it Black Friday? The
Uh, for me and my work schedule, it was all the same. But I thought
Yeah,
I thought it was Black Friday, but
I
it's
think it
all
is
haze.
I think it was actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see like a teaser at D23 that's a little bit more inside baseball,
Hmm.
and something around the holidays, because I think they do have to start getting people excited for Mando and Grogu. Those characters are really, really popular, but I think the larger world conversation about season three is that it lost a little bit of its luster. And
Hmm.
in particular, I think that season one of Mandalorian hooked people so well because you really didn't need to know much, and then
Yeah.
you were still following that clear relationship between Mando and Grogu in season two, but then season three expands to become more about this whole Mandalorian thing. And I think for some people who are not all in Star Wars people, it got a little bit like, what thread am I following? And I feel like that's going to
Hmm.
be a challenge in the way that they market it. So getting the marketing out early and giving people a chance to give season three another try, or
Mm.
watch it at all if people skipped it.
Mm. Yeah. No, that's a great point. You talked about the merch too, and Grogu, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Grogu, Baby Yoda, as he was once called, has to be one of the greatest pieces of marketing ever, and memorabilia and merch. He was and still is everywhere. And the movie, so far, what we've seen, he looks relatively the same. We're not going to get, yet, maybe at the end of the film, we'll get 70-year-old Grogu with a little wispy mustache because it's starting to come in like he's in junior high. Eventually, maybe he, says a word or two, and it's Maggie Simpson all over again. But it's still Grogu as we know it. I think I for one am ready for the Grogu push. Just putting him back out there.
I think that's what they should do. I think he should be on Good Morning America. I think that Grogu should they should have Grogu just do everything.
Just do everything.
Yeah.
Just do everything.
Because the other thing is, I'm obviously Pedro Pascal is pretty well known and liked, but they've also been very honest in more recent times, the last several years, about it isn't just Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, and he might have just come in and he might not be in the suit much at all.
Yeah. Could be what you maybe need, and then we'll get to see some great fashion from Pedro out on the press tour. We get to see his knees. He likes showing those knees when he dresses up, which is great. Any final thoughts on this? We didn't talk as much about Maul and Ahsoka. Obviously, a little lower on the depth chart compared to the movies and returning to the theaters. But big stuff. We're excited for both shows. But I don't even know the release of Maul Shadow Lord, but I'm excited to start officially learning more as well. And the fall's a good time for that. It's the holidays. Why not release some Dark Sith Lord animation?
Yeah. I think they've said 2026. And again, there was a trailer that was shown at Star Wars Celebration, so they've got that ready to go for the general public, maybe with some tweaks. I think my only other thing is it's already been happening in a lot of merch, like particularly like with action figures, that Ahsoka is being centered as like, hey, if you got an action figure set with, main characters of Star Wars, you'll get Vader, Luke, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Yoda. Like, Ahsoka has really been positioned to be like one of the faces of Star Wars. And I'm interested to see how much more support she's given for the second season when they don't have as many streaming shows coming out.
That is true. The landscape continues to evolve. Any final thoughts on news? Thoughts on timelines? Or, I wanted to, from my point of view, I want to talk about it. Just like it is a very dry season. I sit down Sunday to pull the news, and you're like, what's here? But it could spring up faster, sooner than we think, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we always make our predictions about like, D23 next convention and maybe on the holidays, and then almost always what ends up happening is random Tuesday in September.
Right.
They'll just be like, actually, here's the trailer for Starfighter somehow. Like, what?
Yeah.
So we definitely will, I think, get those big news weeks. And more than anything, I mean, it's hard when we're trying to keep the show going and there isn't as much news, but I miss the excitement when something drops of, if there's a great Mando and Grogu trailer and it hits well for general audiences and they're excited, but there's a Jar Jar's shadow is in it. And it gets to be excited about that and talk about that. And, I one of the fun things about doing this and being part of the community is those moments where everybody is kind of excited and or nervous about the same thing. Like those moments, like when Palpatine was revealed in Rise of Skywalker and people wanted to talk about their excitement and their anxiety, and those are exciting times.
Yeah. Yep. Excited. I said up top, the news, everyone kind of expects the news and that brings some more clicks, but I get it because everything you're talking about, it's exciting. It's fun. And we're almost there. All right, that is our look at Star Wars news and the news, scene itself. But now we've been liking to do here the last couple of weeks. We have some little Star Wars mini questions. We've been having a lot of fun clipping them out. So, like I said, if you're on Instagram, find us there. Put them out as YouTube Shorts. Also on TikTok. And yes, I feel like Steve Buscemi trying to infiltrate a school talking about TikTok. But if that's your preferred format, look for us there as ForceCenter Show. But here we go, Joseph. Where would you set a Star Wars sitcom?
Well, there's the classic one that everybody wants, which is the Cheers to Chalmers pipeline, and I'm not going to say anything against that. Chalmers would be great, but I wanted to look at something a little bit more different, a little bit more modern. So I was thinking of a sitcom called "Hold On to Your Huts," which is about all of the people kind of upstairs, downstairs, all of like the cooks. The droid interrogators, the translators, that little glimpse that we saw in Return of the Jedi. It is the working life of all those people trying to keep some damn hut upstairs happy.
Perfect. You never see Jabba. Maybe you only hear him down the hall. Just and you have to make him happy.
Yeah, somebody's working next to the Rancor pit and they just hear the screams like,
oh yeah, Malakili. Do you have an era for it? Do you want to put a classic trilogy? This is Return of the Jedi era.
Maybe more prequels era. You know. Also,
like
the way that he just seems to let every bounty hunter in the galaxy just sleep on the floor. You just sleep where you crash. Just keep drinking, and then somebody's got to clean that up. Who? Find out and hold on to your huts.
Love that. I went Chalmers adjacent. I agree with you. It's easy to maybe set it there. Dexter's Diner, Outlander Club. But I want to officially bring back the Star Wars Holiday Special, but not as a holiday special. I want to go post Rise of Skywalker. No, take it back. Take it back. I want to go post Return of the Jedi. There's that period of time where Han and Chewie maybe a little separated. They free Kashyyyk, but Chewie kind of goes home. And that's my show. Chewie goes home. You got Mala, you got Lumpy, maybe Itchy can still be around, or maybe there's a framed hollow photo of Itchy on the shelf, and then you could do the sitcom thing, just like when on Frasier, Lilith would show up, or you'd bring someone over. Han and Leia show up, recast them. This is how you get Alden Ehrenreich back. Son of Krellman. He just shows up there. And this is a chance to explore Chewie returning home, and the comedy hijinks ensue. Dad, we've already established we don't do that here. And just, there you go. No subtitles.
Yeah, no subtitles. Just, instead of Schitt's Creek, Chewie's Tree. There you go.
Chewie's Tree. We've made some real sitcom magic here today. This question here, catching up a little bit late on a trend that was already out there. But who wins, 100 Ewoks or one Wampa?
We were discussing earlier in the show that sometimes there's nuance and sometimes things are just black and white. For me, this is like, come on, 100 Ewoks. Easily. Wampa's big and powerful, and the big swipes will take out maybe 5 Ewoks in a swipe. I'll give that to the Wampa. The Wampa also seems like if he took out 5 Ewoks, get distracted by eating them. Seems like Logie. Seems like he'd start chewing on one and get a little tired. Not moving real fast in the cave with Luke. So I think he kills a couple Ewoks, gets distracted, and the Ewoks devour him.
I think you're right. I think Wampas are fierce, but they kind of want to be left alone. They just want to do their thing. And if 100 Ewoks showed up, it would kind of mess up the Wampa's day and maybe make them a little weaker. I said this when it was the gorilla versus 100 men. The 100 men can win if 40 are willing to die. And I think 40 Ewoks, courageous Ewoks, would charge in for the greater good. And they would kind of take the first swipes, and then the crazy, unpredictable Ewoks would come in after. And maybe, we don't want this to end as bad. Maybe they just kind of pin the Wampa down, and it all ends in peace and music and harmony. And maybe that is the true battle, a win for peace.
I like that. 100 Ewoks make a snow Wampa, and the Wampa finds a new friend.
But rest in peace, the 40 dead Ewoks, apparently I killed. Final one here, talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu marketing. We will begin soon. We believe will begin soon. But put one surprise Star Wars character in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Who do you want to see?
This one's pretty easy as well. That would be the controversial character of Corky, the alleged nephew of Satine, but maybe son. He's got Obi-Wan's flaxen hair. I would love Corky's one of those joke characters that comes up, but hey, a Mandalorian who survived. Allegedly, Bo-Katan said none of her family survived, but here comes Corky. It can also be a sitcom.
I love that. We'll get the answer of what happened there, Obi-Wan. What happened? I think Dave Filoni, we know Dave Filoni loves going back and pulling in characters that we thought the Star Wars galaxy forgot. Corky, one of them. Rod of the Hutt. We know. Now is the time for Meeber Gascon.
Ooh.
We can do it with the tech. We can do it with the volume. We can make it all work out. Now is the time for Meeber Gascon to show back up into the story. He's helping the New Republic. He's helping to establish order. And there you go. Steven Stanton back as the voice. Meeber, Grogu, and Din Djarin. Trifecta.
Perfect.
There we go. We establish it. Thank you all for listening here today. We appreciate your support. You can find us on social media at Force Center Pod, as I said, on TikTok at Force Center Show. Facebook page is Force Center Podcast. As a podcast, we are available in a lot of spots. Just search, you'll find us. Every Sunday, we re-release Databank Brawl episodes from our 2016 to 2020 run with that show. And Audrey Kearns, Mike Black, guests on the shows right now. We're in that run. So dive in for those wonderful people on those episodes. And don't forget, you can get merch at TeePublic still for right now. And Fourth Walls, we talked about up top. Links down below here on YouTube. If you're here now on YouTube watching, like the video, leave a nice comment, all those good things. And you can support us directly at patreon.com/ForceCenter. Follow me at CadNapsuck or CadNapsuck.com to find out about the other things I do, including my show, Blathering Live. We go live 3 times a week. AM talk radio for modern age news, sports, politics, weather. It's all there on the show. It's a fun community show. I'd love to have you all there. Sir, where can they find you and still support your efforts as you take your feature film over the finish line?
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. And you can also go to my website, josephscrimshaw.com. It's got links to information about the film. There's a great organization called Film North in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that is got a fiscal sponsorship with Dead Media, the film I'm working on. So you can give a one-time tax-deductible donation. Thank you to everyone who has supported the film financially and just emotionally. Lots of nice comments on social media, and I really, really appreciate it.
Appreciate it indeed. That's it. We appreciate all of you here in our Force Center world. We'll see you all next time. This is Force Center.